As outspoken as many of the biggest in the game happen to be, it's rare that we ever see their manager actually make the headlines more often than the celebrities they represent. This is what happens when your manager happens to be the fearless Wack 100, never afraid to share his opinion, even if it's an unpopular one that could even potentially put him in danger. Not only is Wack 100 a man behind the scenes who's becoming one of the biggest, if not arguably the biggest online personality in his space, but he's also steadily becoming one of hip-hop's biggest voices. So how is it that a man who used to handle security for the infamous Suge Knight is now making millions as a manager for The Game, doing business with 6ix9ine, as well as Blueface, and has been able to hang out with visionaries like Ye and Elon Musk? When Wack's artist The Game did a high-profile collaborative song with Ye, Wack took it upon himself to independently release that track Easy via TuneCore through his own label, 100ENT, and put it exclusively through Spotify for the first day that it was available, blocking it from every digital streaming platform. Someone at Spotify realized this, and the song Easy made the headlines as a Spotify exclusive that day, and it landed on many Spotify playlists. This is one example of how Wack does things his way, becoming a large voice in hip-hop that keeps getting talked about even on the business front. With a birth name like Cash Jones, Wack 100 was probably destined to get money in the music industry. Born and raised in a section of Pacoima, Florida that was heavily run by a faction of the Bloods gang, or Piru, it was just a matter of time before he would join the gang himself, and by the age of 15, Wack was already serving time in youth correctional facilities, and a young woman, Kimberly Jones, that visited him during his incarceration, who went on to be who he married and built a relationship and family with that has progressed for decades. Wack would find himself again getting locked up at age 18 in an effort to be able to provide for his family, and this time around things got worse because he was old enough to be tried as an adult, leading to a young Cash Jones being sent to state prison and getting stuck having to serve 4 years, getting out when he was 22, and came home to his wife and their newborn son, then weeks after being released, serving another 9 months for a parole violation in '99. After coming home that time around, he reinvented himself and eventually got some business done with a trucking company, and then later on he would get more and more into the hip-hop sphere. Eventually he would run into The Game after being affiliated and close to Suge Knight and other people in the music industry, as well as Akon and Ray J. But Wack 100 also managed Blueface, and in 2018 he reached out to Baby in an ambitious attempt to form Cash Money West. Wack 100 kept getting the music industry's attention, receiving a $20 million developmental budget from Universal Music Group to find the next wave of West Coast talent. Speaking of West Coast rappers, when Wack made some remarks about the deceased rapper Nipsey Hussle not being a legend like people make him out to be, it led to some repercussion. J-Rock, not to be confused with J-Rock from TDE, but J-Rock, a former Nipsey affiliate and security member, punches Wack several times in the face at Rolling Loud in Los Angeles and runs off. When it appeared that the story was getting told that Wack 100 got knocked out by J-Rock, Wack firmly denied this version of the incident, clarifying that he only saw the man hit and run. I said he's got a few joints I personally felt should have went, and I think if he would have been around long enough, maybe he could have got to that status. But for me, to give him that legend word means we have to go back and we have to give LL, Dre, Cube, and all these other people a different moniker. So the personality of Wack 100 in hip-hop media really starts to pick up steam in 2021-2022, particularly January 21st, 2022, when Wack 100 tells Joe Budden Meek Mill is the most overrated rapper. Controversial commentary is Wack's specialty, telling his own truth, no matter what may catch feelings in the process. He turned the Clubhouse app upside down with his no-holds-barred remarks, and there are entire YouTube channels that have dedicated themselves to uploading tons of his Clubhouse talks alone for their sheer ability to get views. During a Clubhouse conversation with Joe Budden, Wack declared that Meek Mill is the most overrated rapper, saying, "He got axed to headline his own world tour. They had to cancel because the tickets weren't selling. You too mid-game to be doing 80,000 units when you signed to Roc Nation. When you think of Meek Mill, you're gonna think because of the persona that he's an A, B-list artist. I don't know his lyrics because I listen to Meek Mill music, but I'm saying overall as a rapper, because some of these dudes y'all be thinking is one thing, but if you sit back and look at what's going on with them, when you think about them, because of the persona of them, you think they're bigger than they are. Think about it. No world tours, foreign or domestic. I haven't seen no real type of endorsements unless I missed it. I seen a little video game he had, but my homeboy did that. That was some indie stuff. He had the Rick Ross push coming into the game. You would have thought he would have been on Rick Ross level when Rick Ross was at his phase. This is nothing against him. Some of the clubhouse rooms on the app that Wack 100 has been known to frequent are The 100 Show, Sleepless in LA, Jason Lee's room, Death of the Cloud Chaser, and another one with Aiden Films. January of 2022, Wack 100 goes on to criticize Master P. When Wack 100 talked down on Master P's wealth compared to that of Nick Cannon, calling Master P broke and said that he doesn't even have 20% of Nick Cannon's wealth, Master P defended himself on Instagram saying, "Broke is a mindset. Hate is a disease. Nick Cannon is my brother from another mother. We've got a lot of love and respect for each other. We discussed this a couple months ago. The 3 types of people. Poor-minded people think and talk about money. Rich people collect material things, and wealth-minded people produce ideas that create success. The Bible says our people perish from lack of knowledge. As a culture, we have to stop comparing, self-hating, and tearing each other down. Let's educate and empower the next generation." Master P, the founder of No Limit Records, may not have mentioned Wack 100 by name, but it was clear to most that he had been following Wack's remarks that P was responding to Wack. Just a month later, in February-March, 6ix9ine and Wack 100. Wack 100 made it clear that he was doing business with the controversial and polarizing rapper 6ix9ine, whom the rap world had been referring to as a snitch. Wack claims to be assisting 6ix9ine completing new music, securing guest features like we saw with the Kodak Black, and booking tours and shows, saying that he went from being his business partner to handling some management needs. He also proclaimed that he does everything for 6ix9ine, from answering phone calls and emails to handling marketing, publicity, and opening doors that were previously closed to him. Wack 100 even challenged the perception that 6ix9ine violated street codes by snitching on criminal associates for a reduced prison term because Wack 100 considers 6ix9ine to be a civilian, not a real gang member. Everybody knew that this kid with rainbow hair was not a gang member, but because of the politics of the dollar, he got some people get behind him and give him all his blood affiliation. When the circus was over, the clown, who everybody knew was a clown, took off his uniform and sat right there in that light and was who everybody knew he'd be, a normal kid. So do you blame 6ix9ine or the block? They knew he was not a gangster, so why are you subjecting him to gangster stuff? In March of 2022, Wack kept the subject of 6ix9ine in the news by speaking about his financial situation in a clubhouse group online. "Yeah, he broke as hell. That dude 6ix9ine ain't got nothing. Man, that dude over there doing bad, bro. I had to send him $20 for gas, man. That's why we was telling the people, ain't really nothing we can do for you right now, cause he broke. It's effing terrible, man." April 2022, Kim Kardashian versus Wack 100. After Kim Kardashian was involved with the tape with Ray J that arguably made her famous, let's keep it real, it 100% made her famous, it must have felt like deja vu when a similar scenario popped up again. When a new claim emerged that there was yet another tape, a third one, Kim addressed the issue after having previously denied any other tapes could possibly be in circulation. Kim Kardashian, on her family's reality show, admits to the existence of other X-rated material, and she's seen having an emotional breakdown on the phone. And guess who made the claims that other tapes were in his possession? It was Wack 100, who just so happened to be the former manager of Kim's ex-boyfriend Ray J. To make matters worse, Kim claimed that her son Saint was the one who saw an ad on his Roblox game about the existence of the original tape, stating, "Over my dead body is this happening again. I know the right attorneys this time, and I'm not going to let this happen to me again. I have all the time, all the money, and all of the resources to burn them all the effing ground." After stating that she was ready to fight Wack 100 and Ray J in court if she had to, she called her ex-husband Ye, crying about the whole ordeal. Oddly enough, Ray J had previously denied that any other tape existed, so this must have probably come as more of a shock to him, or he had an agreement with her. Wack 100 sent a direct message to Kardashian, insisting that he had the tapes, and Ye would later claim that he had retrieved the tapes personally on behalf of Kim, stating, "I went and got the laptop from Ray J myself that night. I met this man at the airport, then got on a red eye, came back and delivered it to her at 8 a.m. in the morning." This story took an even weirder turn when the computer and hard drive that were collected apparently didn't have any footage on them to begin with. May of 2022, Jay Electronica versus Wack 100. Wack just hasn't made disparaging remarks about deceased rappers and living rappers. He even made some comments about the Nation of Islam that made one of their more famous members take a public stand against Wack 100. This individual happened to be the mysterious rapper Jay Electronica that never decided to live up to the hype. Wack 100 ended up hopping on Instagram with a message for him after Jay Electronica told Wack to watch his mouth when it comes to the Nation of Islam. Wack's reaction was, "The man of no hits. Eat a cucumber emoji. Now press that. You nobody to ask, I asked the man in front of me at Brother Ben X, and he answered the question. I've never known the NOI to duck a question. That's what they're there for, to educate. Am I not right? You strike back with anger because a black man asked another black man a question to gain understanding. You're fresh out of Ramadan with this behavior, with this attitude. Poor representation of what this movement stands for. What seemed to take a conflict up a notch in the first place was when WAC 100 called out the Nation of Islam over the 1995 Million Man March that black men together peacefully made in Washington, D.C. to spread awareness of financial and social issues plaguing the community. WAC started questioning where the money that was raised went, and during a clubhouse call with the NOI member and entrepreneur Brother Ben X, WAC said, I've always scratched my head about that Million Man March. I've never seen nothing come up. I question that. You know me, I'ma call a spade, where that money went. That was orchestrated by the NOI. The money was administered by the NOI. It was supposed to be this, and that. I thought I was going to see some schools or maybe some type of funding for child resources. The Million March came, a bunch of people raised a bunch of money, and then we didn't hear nothing. When Jay Electronica got wind of the commentary that he deemed to be a negative reflection of the NOI, he turned around and posted, at WAC 100, if you got any questions, ask me with your ass, he wrote. You out here pressing everybody but the open enemy. Don't be out here stunting on our little brother. Press me about the Nation of Islam. I got that fire you looking for. Just a month later, June of 2022, Jay Prince versus WAC 100. When Rap-A-Lot Records founder Jay Prince and Larry Hoover were guests on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, Prince told Gillie the Kid and Wallow he was getting sick and tired of WAC's commentary as it pertained to hip-hop culture, particularly figures that Jay Prince respected. I love the hip-hop culture. You know, I put in a lot of work. I put in a lot of work where the hip-hop culture is concerned. I blazed a trail. When I see one trying to take shots on Tupac, trying to shoot on Nipsey, trying to shoot on the homie Big U out there, trying to shoot on Master P, good dudes, real dudes, Meek Mill, I see a dude get on the podcast with another rat and go off on 21 Savage. I'm like, oh, this dude got diarrhea of the mouth. He like full of crap, right? He the type of dude that'll take a dump on the bed and blame it on the baby. Jay Prince also had some critical words for WAC 100 for aligning himself with 6ix9ine, going as far as to call WAC Officer Rat 100 and insisting that he wants all the smoke, unafraid to confront WAC. Things got even more intensified when Jay Prince claimed that WAC was working against him by standing in the way of getting Gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover Sr. out of prison. WAC responded on Instagram in all caps saying, "You can argue with that. All of a sudden you don't know nothing. All of a sudden there has never been any conversation. All of a sudden none of this ever happened. My coast is my coast. My team is my team." The tension between Jay Prince would continue further into 2023 for other reasons. Jay Prince pulled Cardi B into the tense back and forth with Offset over comments made during Jay Prince's interview on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast on February 24th of that year, claiming Offset wasn't really there for Takeoff at the time of Takeoff's death. Prince said that Offset once asked him to come to Los Angeles because he was nervous about Cardi B having to perform in LA after she received some serious threats from Crips over her use of the word flu, which is considered disrespectful, against the gang's blue colors. Cardi B also responded to Jay Prince, accusing him of spreading fairy tales and stating that Big U and WAC were the only ones that were there at the time. WAC agreed with what Cardi B said, stating that Jay Prince had nothing to do with the situation, but instead of keeping the feud with Prince, WAC seemed to suddenly have a change of heart because of the intervention of outside forces on both sides. Rock called me today from 6 Deuce Brim, and I guess he got some ties to somebody on Jay Prince's side. So I guess somebody called M-Rock, my brother from 6 Deuce Brim, Michael One. We go back 12 years old, Juvenile Hall. M-Rock respectfully asked me to chill out. Shout out my guy, I'ma respect you and honor what you asked me to do, just as long as the terms is met. That they leave me alone, I'll leave them alone. October of 2022, 21 Savage versus WAC 100. When WAC called 21 Savage a rat snitch on Clubhouse, denying the claim that he was an informant in the Young Thug YSL racketeering case in Atlanta, or at least alleging that he had been an informant, WAC 100 thought that since 21 Savage had not been deported in his ongoing immigration case, then it must mean that he's helping Fonnie Willis, who is the DA for Fulton County, Georgia, in the YSL RICO case. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? And I don't speak on, I have seen you go through real life stuff on the internet or whatever, right? And I don't speak on it. I don't make fun of it. I don't speculate about it. Just give me the same respect, gang. You call me a snitch, man. Bro, you on the internet saying you think I'm an informant. Come on, man. 21 Savage denied that he was working with the Fulton County DA. As for his immigration case, 21 said that it was an open gun case that he has to deal with first before he can handle the immigration case. But Wack 100 still didn't think that 21 Savage was telling the truth. Before 21 exited Clubhouse, he accused Wack of using him for content. November of 2022, Bobby Shmurda and Wack. When Bobby and Youngboy started talking bad about each other online, Wack couldn't help and join the mix. It started when Bobby and Youngboy were arguing over comments Rowdy Rebel made about Quando Rondo affiliate Lil Tim, who was King Von's killer, whom he criticized for choosing the murder route during the fatal situation with King Von. Youngboy pushed back on Rowdy Rebel's claims and appeared to be supporting Quando's camp, who is his artist. Then Bobby Shmurda hopped into it and seemed to be dissing NBA Youngboy and Quando Rondo on IG Live. As this conflict continued, both Youngboy and Shmurda kept trading remarks to each other on social media, and then Bobby claimed he was ready to boom Wack 100, Academics, and others. I'm 2-0 for the year already, on parole, 1 million up. Stop effing playing with me. When I catch y'all little dudes or DJ Academics, everybody, bro. Anybody I catch like Wack, y'all can record this. I'm going to boom them on camera. On parole, I don't give a damn. I'm going to boom one of y'all on camera on my dead grandmother. The hell is wrong with y'all? Wack 100 raised the stakes in the argument when he started making fun of Bobby Shmurda, and Wack offered to match him up with a transformer woman named Naughty Nerd Ninja. We have somebody to your liking. At Naughty Nerd Ninja is an open transgender woman, very respectful. Come to the 100 emoji show on Clubhouse and you can meet Naughty. Don't say I didn't look out for you. We know what you like. What made Wack offer this to Bobby? It probably has something to do with rumors surrounding Bobby Shmurda's inclinations after he was said to have been caught in bed with two men, with one of those two men, Xavier Rasa, claiming that Bobby, quote, loved him. But what ended up happening is that he eventually admitted he was lying about the whole situation, and this prompted Bobby to threaten violence against Wack. But wisely enough, everyone retracted these statements after Bobby's parole officer gave him a call. Bobby came back out telling everybody he was just joking, and the threats that he was just trying to get some views. The Shmurda and Youngboy conflict faded away after Youngboy deactivated his IG page, and Bobby Shmurda's Instagram posts were removed. February 2023, Wack versus Trippie Redd. When Wack 100 asked why young male rappers like Trippie Redd, Youngboy, and Lil Uzi Vert were wearing fingernail polish, Trippie Redd responded in the comment section of Wack 100's Instagram post. It's a way of expressing your feelings, being true to yourself, and self-care. It seemed that more and more male rappers are jumping on the fingernail polish trend again, as has been happening with Lil Yachty, Lil Pump, Youngboy, and even Kid Cudi, who's pretty much like a grandfather in rap now, who have all been confusing audiences who wondered why these artists were suddenly painting their nails all of a sudden. In 2021, Lil Yachty had even took it a step further and launched a, quote, all-gender nail polish, which eventually failed. But who didn't see that one coming? And Trippie Redd and Wack 100, I wouldn't necessarily consider a feud or back and forth, because they are very cool. Wack 100 has stamped Trippie Redd as being a solid and stand-up guy in the past, so it just seemed like Wack 100 was trying to get an understanding into what these younger rappers were doing. Since then, there have been plenty of back and forths that Wack 100 has had through the year, but he's somebody that has yet to really face any, quote, real repercussions for these controversies that he's had. And a lot of what he's doing is what people are doing on the internet. He just so happens to have more connections and be more of a figure within the industry, so that his words echo a lot more than, let's say, someone that isn't as connected to all of these people. But one thing we haven't seen yet is him be exposed of lying. And since then, he's had a podcast now and show with Adam 22, which is doing well for the both of them, and he's continued to grow his own brand. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe for more, and make sure to subscribe for more again.